Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to KritzKast. It is finally here. I'm hyped, and I hope you are hyped too as we raise the curtain on ETF2L's 15th season of Highlander. We have a big Premiership game for you out of the blocks. It is a repeat of a game we saw in the preseason playoffs, and I'm sure some revenge will be wanted by one of the teams. In one corner, we have last year's runners-up, Feila eSports, who beat out defending champions SCCK in the semi-finals last season, but lost at the final hurdle against Strong Opinions. They have changed 7 out of their opening 9 players. Only Joe and Layla remain, Highlander's power couple, and they've brought in some familiar faces to build up a new team and won through easily through the preseason playoffs with 2 victories, including one over their opposition tonight. That opposition is WASP, a team returning after a few seasons hiatus, getting back some of Eastern Europe's best players to form a title challenging team for season 15. They met Feila eSports in the preseason playoffs. They were the higher seed but were knocked down to the lower bracket, and in the end had to fight their way through another couple of matches, in the end knocking out former double champions Tourette's Chess Club in the lower bracket final, taking that final spot in the Premiership division. This is going to be PL Badwater. It's a classic. We've got some classic casters. I'm CeeJaey, and I've got Foppish on production and Domaytoe as my co-caster. Microphone sorted. Domaytoe, you ready? You ready for this?
Good evening. I just got stung by a kind of sting of enthusiasm, or maybe that was no enthusiasm. You know what that was, CeeJaey? That was a wasp, and it stung me. So I'm now a wasp fanboy. I have been converted, and therefore, they've also chosen, by the way, I can already say that much, a far superior spy merc, because I can give you a little story in a second, but yeah, I'm here, I'm happy, it's Badwater, we all know that it's amazing map. And there we go, CeeJaey, this time you don't even have like 20 minutes to pick your prediction, because I've already done it, so now you're going with Feila, and now you're going to explain why Feila is going to pound this this map.
Okay, yeah, all right. So you've put me in a corner, and I'm going to go through the Feila roster, and maybe that can give a bit of a reason why, I guess. I mean, on Scout we have Jinxie. He's played numerous different classes in the high 6s in the past couple of seasons. Menti on Soldier has played Soldier and Demo in Highlander in the past. Probably better known as a medic, formerly playing in Prem 6s. Pyro is going to be Tea Time. Tea Time played in the Season 10 Grand Final, actually, as a Merc 4, fair enough. Has played Prem in the previous seasons. Of course, on Demo, it is the one and only Joe, leader of the team. Twice now he's reached the Prem Final, Season 5 and then Season 14, but hasn't quite reached that touch yet. Could this be his season? We'll see. Bloodis is on Heavy. I think this is about the 3rd or 4th different class he has played for Feila eSports over the past few years. Engineer is Spamfest. Backup NG for Strong Opinions last year. Legendary NG over in NA. Has won numerous platinum titles with the likes of MTS and DK. Medic is Layla. The other half of the Joe combo. Kazarok is on Sniper. And Agi is on Spy. Now, you talked to me before. You said, Domaytoe, you forced me to pick Feila. Okay, you forced me to pick this team. I feel that the fact that they played Badwater against WASP the other day in the preseason playoffs and absolutely stomped them, I would say they're probably going into this more comfortable and probably more as a unit. This is their first
psychological warfare.
Yeah, I mean, psychological warfare. It's got into their brains. You're going to tell me why WASP is going to win. I mean, another reason I don't think they're going to win, Domaytoe, is because it looks like they've got a few mercs.
I think they only got one merc, right, on Spy, or maybe on Pyro. I think
Sketch is their main Pyro?
He played a lot with them. I feel like I saw him a lot playing with them recently. So I think it's like a semi-merc, maybe he's even on their roster, I haven't checked. But this is a bit too less time now. CeeJaey, I will tell you later on, and we'll actually go down the WASP roster later on as well, as the gates are already open. Jaretti instantly came on Sketis, and they're just preparing their suicide wave here. Vettel is already in. He's going completely behind to the teleporter, so we will not see this guy as the suicides come in, but like Denial really strong. Now Pyro comes in completely alone and he dies as well, so we won't see the spy for the next 20 seconds because he went to the spawn. And the suicide wave, CeeJaey, first one was completely unsuccessful.
Vettel there, as you say, the Merc, making a jog all the way to spawn, take down that teleporter. Good choice. That's what most spies do these days. Just to confirm, guys, this is WASP in the blue as they are going for another suicide wave, trying to get the force down. They do take down Layla. It's the pipe from Wiethoofd. Does take him down. Does take her down. And a lot of casualties for WASP, but they're not going to mind. They get the drop out of Layla. That is the first drop of the...
She ain't popping.
First drop of the new Premiership season. And actually, it looks like Feila want to stay in here. They do have control of the high ground. They don't have a sentry. Spamfest is building it somewhere else. He's all the way back on second, as is Layla. And some players getting caught out here. Menti and KazRok both go down. The Uber was used out of spray in the choke there. Just going in through the tunnel. Bloodis and Joe and T-Time have all gone down. Wiethoofd, he's already on the chase. He's going around. Can he get onto third? Can he get some damage down? Jinxie and Spamfest are there. If takes out Spamfest, this is going to be huge. He dodges those stickies. He's taking so much damage. Finally goes down to the headshot of Morg.
There we go.
Big play.
I don't know if he actually peeked around the corner. Okay, that was kind of a legit shot. I was just about to, like, I would not be surprised if Morg was like on first and actually hit a headshot in the NG on third, you know. But like they're making so much pressure here. It's really good to see. Edgy went behind them from the kind of spawn door, but he gets got out there. And they're still playing on this high ground here. Morg gets spammed out. It's really important. And DQZ went down as well. And like now the frags are coming in, and actually in all of that, oh never mind, okay, Sprayer survived that because it's Sprayer and we have equal percentage of Uber, and now they're actually bleeding players here. See that? Like Battle, the Merc already showing up and killing the sniper as we've seen like in the past. This is so crucial on this point to push it in, CeeJaey. Now the card just rolls closer as we are about to see our next Uber exchange.
I think the most important thing is that Vettel is actually up in the window. He's like on the high ground on third. Now Spamfest hasn't built his sentry, so he doesn't have that dispenser. It's not that big of a deal. But if Feila do end up winning this fight, as the Uber exchange does come out here, Wiethoofd and co trying to get really aggressive with that Wrangle sentry, pushing the back. Jinxie goes down to the backside. Not the biggest pick. There is so much time on the card. It's so close to third. Catman there is trying his best. Now Lightclaw is actually on the card. Joe comes in, a couple of pipes. He's going to take him down. KazRok with a frag. And it does look like Feila want to fight here. They are 5 up. There's a lot of weak players on WASP. They have to be careful going in for the repush. T-Time gets domed there by Morg, but Joe wins the demo battle. That could be decisive here. I think Clark and Catman are going to get that cap, and Feila have to be careful. They could get rolled here. They do have an Uber advantage. I'm not sure why it's so big. Maybe they just used their Uber much later, but 253 for the first few points is extremely fast for WASP. They're absolutely rolling it here.
Yeah, they're looking on the side. Yeah, I just think Sprayer wasn't healing for a long time because his players were just a bit disconnected. He probably went to the second spawn or such because just Sprayer things. I want this kind of meme on Instagram or something like just Sprayer things. But currently they're just pressuring tracks here, CeeJaey. It's 50% advantage, not so much as they're just walking in here so they can actually get this. Morg goes down to KazRok, which big pick, and Wiethoofd as well, so this basically stops the push there. Also, cheeky headshot down to Catman. Catman is so weak. I think he's eating a sandwich or such. No, he's just waiting there and calling in his Russian language to just receive all the arrows, and Sprayer will do this because it looks good on the logs, so much heals. But yeah, I mean, they got the card not this far, but you can't really do this without a push. But now, CeeJaey, they're pushing from checks, but
the sticky trap takes down D2. That's going to be huge. It's going to be Sketty's taking most of you, but he does make a lot of flashes there. And Layla, really good flash. She keeps all of her players alive, including Spamfest. Easy to drop your NG in an exchange like that, but she flashes him once there, so he's able to get that sentry up. And Feila, in the end, only losing Jinxie in that exchange. Not a bad trade whatsoever. But that sticky trap absolutely crucial there. I just have to point out, Vettel has just been on KazRok's butt the entire time. He has not had time to snipe a Morg, therefore he's getting a lot of space and time. Actually taking a nice shot from Map Room there as Menti tries to reclaim it. But yeah, things started to settle down a little bit here. Feila,
I mean, we saw how crucial that was. Good point. Like, we saw how crucial that was. When Kaza was already not down, like he shut down the entire push before that. So that's a good point to make, that he was actually killing, and now Pyro is really aggressive here, T-Time on tracks. I think this is really the crucial point here, I would say already. Joe goes down, really important, and Vettel goes on the sentry gun. The coordination is a bit off there, but they do get the force out of them really good there. Spare doesn't actually have, they're just all the way out on tracks, and they actually have won the fight over map room, so it's looking really, really good for the next push for them, CeeJaey.
There's a question of pop there. I'm not sure if Layla was under any pressure, we should scared at the spy, I'm not sure. But the sap from
well,
the sentry
Joe went
came
down
up kind
before
of
that.
yeah, I mean there was no demo and the sentry got sapped, but there was no follow-up on it. As there is a lot of spam from D2 now, he is going to take it down and Spamfest. Joe goes down to the backstab. This is a really aggressive Uber, just trying to push all the way into spawn. No cap time as yet, but we're just waiting for plays. Layla goes down. Yeah, Morg with the body shot. Kazarok and Menti are in Manfree, but they're just going to get flanked by Catman. Nobody expected the Catman, and it does look like Wasp are going to just push this into the bottom of that pit. 5:39, pretty fast time. Not as fast as maybe the first 3 points would have dictated, but it only took them a couple more minutes to push all the way to last. And I mean, I didn't even get to kind of open us up with, you know, hey, Wasp are pushing first and Feila defending. Feila, you know, 5-minute time, they've been pushed all the way back. They have to beat 5:39, otherwise this first round will go to Wasp. This is, of course, just a regular season game in Premiership. We're done with the qualifiers, the divisions have been decided, and, you know, whoever wins this is going to be a best of 3, and 6 points are available. You either get 6, you either get 4, 2, or 0. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity here to pick some points. And I think it's going to be crucial. I think both of these two teams are going to be wanting to get into playoffs. So, you know, this could be a really, really huge win for either of these teams if they do get a 6-0. And at the moment, Wasp looking really strong. I mean, what was the deciding factor there? What caused them to be so kind of aggressive on those first 3 points?
I just want to say before that I think things are looking really up for Wasp, really. Because, I mean, it's not like the most fastest roll time, but you have to keep in mind this is the first week of actual Premiership season right now, and this is definitely a respectable time to play with. And you can't really expect to roll a team that maybe rolled you before in the season. So I think they are definitely very happy with that. And what we had before was basically the flank was just aggressive all the time, really good pressure from them. Also Wiethoofd doing so much as now the jump comes in, but Joe's kind of alone there and gets really easily dealt with, and also the jump there from Menti and everyone went down, so Spread didn't take any damage, I think, just with the dispenser, and was looking at the thing that does more healing per minute probably than him, but therefore we just have to point out, CeeJaey, that I feel their general team play is really where they excel currently. Wasp, like, they're playing really well in the offense before, and now they're actually taking slope left side here, and Uber comes in, CeeJaey.
Yeah, the Ubers come in, it has to be used really, really early by Layla, so that means Wasp can have a much, much longer Uber. Detoed on the chase, trying to get some plays down. Does take Kazarok, so sniper pressure. He's very weak, has to be careful, but a nice arrow from Spray is going to keep him alive. And take a look at Clark, they're just wrangling down onto the cart, making sure no pressure. I think you talked about team play, and that came in just the time when, you know, there was some bombs come in from Feila, and then after everyone had bombed in, Agi decided to uncloak underneath the sentry and try to sap the teleporter, the exit. I mean, really questionable. He does it again. Probably will get it this time, but I mean, surely you want to go for the sentry. Look at Clark, he's on a 6k with that Wrangler. You want to go for the sentry, surely, as a sap, at the same time as the suicide coming in.
There he comes, but it's alone again. See?
It's not at the right time. He's getting the saps down, but now, you know, no one else is pushing, so that's kind of a wasted sap. It does look like we're going to see a fast side push again from Feila. They're trying to drive push this. Vettel is waiting. He's got a choice. Either goes for the sniper or the medic. No, he's going to go forward. Can he get Joe? He's so weak, gets taken down by the heavy. But in the end, lots of frags here for Feila, and it's going to push them out as Sprayer has to run away. He had to use his Uber there. I totally missed that. So concentrated on the Feila players, and Layla has 100% Uber now, Domaytoe. 3 minutes and 35 seconds they've got to push the remaining points, and you know what, they're going to get second for free, so who knows what could happen.
Well, I think since they get second for free, maybe the Russians can opt to do some cheeky strategy and actually rely on their Merc getting the drop or something, because he is in position currently, but he's not decloaking. Yeah, it's a smart decision. Before, by the way, when you said like Edgy was in for so long, he had no right to get the clock pick was the important part there. I mean, he missed so many saves and he still survived because no one actually bothered on WASP to deal with him or something. Maybe something got lost in translation, but really, currently they're just pushing from tracks here, but they are forced really early. Really good pick there onto Detoad, but they can probably just soak it up because Card's so far back and he's down. This is really important. T-Time comes in, maybe he can make up for this. Yeah, he gets a 2k there on balcony, really important, and now you go for the Sentry Gun. Oh, Sentry Gun actually, Clark went down to headshot and Sentry Gun goes down, so the Card's still far back, but they basically just won this push by kind of really good play there.
I was going to say, they use it so early, like the cart would only just cap second when they were Ubering in. If you do that, you have to actually get the medic there.
What? Forced on us.
He forced?
he forced to something. He was like at 50 health like, or something. Like he actually took damage, so it was, I don't know, but he forced to something.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say they used so early there. They gave away the advantage. They had to get sprayed, but they got so many frags. They took down Clark, the sentry, the sniper, everything, and that just allowed them to walk in pretty much for free. And because of that force, which didn't really see what happened there, he did take a lot of a lot of damage. I think maybe Joe was getting forward with the stickies. Means Layla has an uber advantage. So as long as she doesn't drop this or die, she's at 90% right now. Morg is down, Catman is down. So this is a huge opportunity to Feila to see this out. One push, just under 2 minutes to go. Still plenty of time, but they need to be careful.
Are they losing too many players?
Yeah, they lost Spamfest. That's Cart pushing power out of the window, and there's only a mini sentry to deal with, and they're taking too long. Sprayer is at 70% now. He's holding close to Spiral. Of course, this is not the pro version, so he's able to escape that without too much worry. Joe getting aggressive now, getting some damage onto Dito. Has to push down, drops down, flashes T-time in, but there's nothing for them to deal with. It's just a mini sentry. And they force them out, but Spray goes down! Spray goes down to Kazarok! There is not going to be a counter over here from WASP, and they are bleeding players now. There are 4 up. Skettis comes in, tries to get Layla. He will get Layla. He also gets Jinxie. And actually takes down T-time as well. Skettis might have actually helped them win this.
He's carrying, like they have to. Oh, he's still in here. He's denying Joe. Now the spawn waves coming. They just have to play this conservatively, survive here. That'll actually important step there to keep the gun down. But Catman goes down, so they have to play this from top, and like they can't be players here. They have to kill this really important headshot as well from Morg. And Bloodis goes down, so they may actually reconsolidate this edgy there. Gets a pick onto Lightclaw. Everything is so scrappy right now, and they actually might have gotten this. No, Skettis is in again, but they probably won't. It's so equal right now, CeeJaey. But big step there onto the medic, and they actually consolidated this. Holy wow! This was just the messiest fight of this game. Like this was so messy.
There was a moment there where I think Agi was in behind and could have got a stab onto the demo or the medic, or somebody who was there, and it was T-time who, instead of just holding mouse 1, actually air blast them out of the backstab range. So kind of unfortunate from him there, but WASP are just all over this point. Feila need to stand on the point, they need to get it in, they've got 8 seconds to go, they just need to flood some damage and get those down, but Dito is just there, they're actually getting onto the cart now, lots of bodies, but it's just a slaughter. The WASP players just feeding onto them, and WASP take that first round. I mean, what looked like to be an extremely comfortable round from them, in the end is extremely close, almost reminiscent of the round that they should have won in the preseason playoffs. Everyone remembers on Badwater, where the Karma comes back, but I mean, lots of mistakes there from WASP on the defensive phase. Arguably, they shouldn't have allowed Feila to get into that position.
I'm unsure. Like the main, I think like the force maybe leaving Spare on last really made it way harder for them, like it had to be. But the thing is, on the third point, like I don't know if they made this many mistakes. Like Feila just pushed with an uber advantage, and they just got their players into the right position. Like, you know, there's not so much you can do, and actually felt like WASP did well with actually getting their players out there. So it's kind of hard if you like lose the third point, which is basically the hold where you get the longest time on, to kind of this advantage push, because this is Prem. Like you have to pay respect to enemy teams because these players are really good, like on both teams, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
We're already readying up. Wow, these players are not giving us any time to breathe. But I just want to say quickly, because now we don't actually have to look at logs, haha. So I actually go down the roster for WASP here, which will be Lightclaw on the Scout class. Also, literally every one of these players has converted to having kind of PR work there for keysstore.com. DQZ on the soldier class. Skettis. I mean, we haven't heard of this guy so much, but he definitely saved WASP there on last, like, so hard. He basically won this first round, so very easy as a pyro class. Then Wiethoofd on the Demoman class, Catman on heavy, Clark on engineer, Sprayer on medic, Morg on sniper, and Vettel, the Norwegian merc, on spy. And there we go. My story still has to wait, CeeJaey, but anyway, we'll tell you can later.
Come in. I'm going to talk about logs. I don't care. We've got 20 seconds to set up
time. No.
That is wasted time. Taking a look at the logs, 13:39 was the length of the round. And Catman there just getting over 1 kill a minute with 14, going 14 for 12. Not getting a huge amount of damage, but hey, it doesn't matter if you're going to be there to just get those surprise kills. Clark 13 for 6 and Morg 12 for 7. all completing the top 3 there. So a lot of Wasp
do
players
these
in that
locks
top.
for you. What
And
Sprayer
shut up, Domaytoe. I'm talking about stats. Sprayer dialing 2 times compared to Layla's 5, but I guess one of Layla's deaths was kind of rushing the car at the end there. So now we'll have Feila eSports pushing in the blue, Wasp in the red, trying to defend, and Wasp will try to defeat the time that Feila set as actually dies there. But here comes the suicide. Sprayer is really far away from that target. He is just dodging into the sightline, and that's kind of where you want your sniper to be watching, I feel, because you know you're forcing the medic away from the damage into that valley area, and that's just walking into the sightline for the sniper. KritzKast was up on cliff, so maybe a little bit of a poor positioning or miscommunication, I'm not sure. But we do see some more suicides. Menti trying to get some rockets out, but just so much denial. The force of the minigun, the air blast, and the Wrangle Sentry just sends them all the way back to spawn, and looking quite comfortable for Wasp at the moment.
Yeah, they're just cleaning all these players up currently. Like that was signed in the second. See this sapper? Like I'm getting low-key triggered currently by these sapping potentials of. I mean, Wiethoofd did maybe better there, but Edgy, I think he's just doing that right now to kind of put me on tilt a little bit, because they're not synced up, and in the first suicide wave as well. I think they're actually doing another suicide wave, because Menti is just on tracks here currently. He actually got P'd on really early and the teleporter goes down. They'll probably clean this up before they get anything done. Like, all these players are so weak on Feila, they're just dying.
Layla was stacking heals in tunnel. She was actually putting all of the heals on her players. They get the force via tunnel, and yeah, they come in through, they rotate to the top level. This is really interesting. Clark is just pushed off there, so the sentry is going to die.
The sentry's still up!
It's still up, it does go die eventually. Layla is covered in P, but she's protected by Menti. Vettel's on her now, and gets her down with the Latrange. There's mini crits. This should be a cap here for Feila, but at what cost? They have lost their medic and their demo, so they can't really chase. It gives up an opportunity for Wasp to maybe hold on to second here. Maybe hold this corner with Morg alive, but it doesn't look like they feel too comfortable. They haven't got their flag to hold roof, and Menti's already there, so probably feeling it's not the best idea, and they're just chilling on third now.
You could see like the Wasp, like how it was kind of gearing up in their minds. Like they were, should we hold this? And I was just looking at Spray, just turned like 10 times in this kind of transition area, and I was just hearing like, no, I don't want to hold here. So they just backed out, which is a smart decision. Layla now has 70% disadvantage, and they're. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world.
Just watch Clark. Clark tried twice to sentry jump, and he missed twice. A second longer, and he was going to get sniped because KritzKast was watching that corner. I was just imagining something huge was going to happen there.
And the flanks down. That's really important from Boiler. While you were busy watching your favorite engineer, CeeJaey, they're actually working their way in here. As they have 70%, so they don't actually have Uber yet, but they're drive pushing this from Boiler here, like really smartly. And the flank went down before that, which was really important. Like due to this Boiler push, Morg goes down as well, and Clark as well. This is basically a free point for them. They probably don't even have to use their Catman though. Catman slay on balcony. They might have get forced here though, so let's.
Spamfest! What the hell? Spamfest, the engineer, actually takes top left, puts a mini down, and he took down Catman with his shotgun. I don't know how the hell he got it. Did he wrangle? He wrangled the mini to get up top and took down Catman. That is one of the best NG plays I've seen in my life. That is crazy. Huge play coming in from some of the Feila players there, and 4 down for Wasp right now. Pretty much equal levers, but Sprayer is so weak. He gets taken down by T-Time. T-Time just strolling in there, picks up a frag. Feila, another quick time coming out of them, and they got some time on the car now. They've got positioning. Clark's only got a level 1. He's doing the best he can to try to get up in that passive position. Should be able to deny as he is up to level 2 now. DQZ doing his best, actually controlling. Oh wow, controlling map room until KritzKast comes in and domes him
Jinxie
from close range.
So much Captain. Finally, Vettel puts an end to that, but he got so much Captain just kind of for free because his combo held there. And you see, now Vettel actually, I think there was a face step, so Joe goes down, he screams at 200 decibel, his team can't hear anything. Sprayer is up in the skybox and actually dies to miniguns from somewhere. Now they're just pushing this card. Nightclaw, either 9k here or you get kicked from the server. They do force them away with the Uber. They have to be kind of careful because now the spawn's actually coming from Detour. Oh, this is the beef! Like the spam class spawn and Catman's on top, and they're just getting the spam here. Layla is so weak as well. She goes down to the bluff there, and Joe is in and dies as well. So Menti's still on top, so maybe he can pull something. He actually goes down there on the card, and he's going to keep this alone. No, go away from this card, you weep! And he pushes it in under 5 minutes, CeeJaey. This is, like, these last fights are so scrappy.
Dude, I'm going to have an early night at this rate. I mean, the cast is going to be over. The speed of the, even if it goes to a best of 3, the speeds of these pushes are insane. I mean, if Feila are going to be feeling a little bit aggrieved, because if they pushed that fast in the previous round, they would have won it. That's actually faster than WASP's attacking time. So a lot of pressure now on WASP to try and beat this time. I mean, I have to say, a couple of misplays from Feila. They could have had it earlier. The reason that it looked like they were about to lose was because they Ubered onto T-Time. T-Time was clearing up, but there wasn't really much for him to kill. It would have been better just to not, like, Uber on the cart, take the Uber off, get the cap time by standing on the cart un-Ubered, and push the cart, keep going forward, because as soon as it gets close to that little pit that it has to fall in, there's so much pressure on the WASP players to actually have someone please stand on it. So in the end, they had that little bit of time for their classes to respawn, throw their bodies on. It looked like they could win it. But in the end, yeah, some big plays out of Agi and Menti ended up winning them around. So lots of pressure on WASP. Be interesting to see what they decide to push with here. I don't think Spray is really a fan of crits, from my experience in playing against him. So I don't think there are going to be any crit shenanigans coming out of WASP. But I do expect some fast pushes, and we are live now. Wait for those suicides to come in. And see if we get any coordinated saps or some bombs going on here. I do know GQZ was running the jetpack when he was playing Py. GQZ's in a soldier though, gets denied. Layla is on the teleporter. She's untouched. No one is going to touch her. Dito gets destroyed there by Kazarok. And Skettis gets finished. Yeah, the Pyro does actually get the force in the end. So not the end of the world for Feila, but huge Uber advantage for Sprayer now.
If your Sapper is not on this gun when the suicide comes in, you are not allowed to actually force the enemy medic. You're only allowed to actually lose this point. I'm still getting the... I mean, the tally is sapped again, actually goes down, but I'm questioning these spy gameplays on both sides, actually. But yeah, I mean, you have a Pyro, he's a bit overpowered, and he forces Layla. Like, Layla actually had to use there. And now they're actually making so much pressure from Thunder, and they use really early. They need to get a lot of ground here. This is the kind of crucial thing to cut them off, because they're not getting this, CeeJaey. They're getting completely cut off because they lost Skettis, and now they're actually behind them. And I mean, T-Time gets piped down, which is really important, but I don't feel like they can make so much out of this positional disadvantage, really.
Yeah, I mean, wow, Kazarok there takes down Sprayer. That was crazy. Sprayer was just so deep. And Kazarok catches him on the retreat. And they do see actually Feila backing off it. Kazarok gets taken down by that pipe from Dito, from the Iron Bomber. Bloodis might actually get caught out here. He's 11 HP. Actually just casually gonna eat a sandwich around the corner. DQZ's like, do I hear a heavy? And if Bloodis escapes this, he's dodging. He's gonna get out alive. Oh my days. See if that's gonna cost them later on.
But there was no one fought. Like DQZ hit so good directs, like no blame on him for them getting out. There was just nobody other aggressive, like, you know. 70% advantage now for Layla actually going into this. I mean, they can still do this. Like, they are pushing so fast. You're actually correct. Like, you're absolutely correct on this one. Edgy also goes down, gets directed back into the spawn, and DQZ is already making pressure. Wiethoofd here jumps on the balcony, and they're just getting so much spam again. Like, these players are really realizing what has to be done.
Yeah, I mean, they are getting aggressive. Dito takes down Kazarok. There's no sniper to deal with. Costs him his life, though, so really, do you want to trade your demo for a sniper? Questionable, but it does mean that it's pretty easy for Morg to get some cheeky snipes. Trying to get some space there.
I agree with this play, though. Like, they don't have Uber yet, so they won't push anyway, and Kazar's still down, so maybe they can get the aggression in, and maybe work the sniper in Boiler. I think this is what they're doing. Like, they're pressuring in from Boiler right now, and I don't think Kazarok is in position to deny this. They have to be quick, though, and Wiethoofd goes down, so... One pick class doesn't carry it away, but Edgy actually stalls them out, so it's only 2 minutes to go here. Like, they are pressured so hard, WASP.
Yeah, no one was protecting Detailed on the cart. Edgy was just waiting just to deny those cart pushes, which is always a decent choice as a spy, just slowing down that cart push while everyone else is doing their own thing. So again, he decides to go for the teleport. He's just trying to slow the push. Uber comes in very early here from Sprayer, just solely onto Dito. Trying to get Skettis in as well, but the counter comes in. Joe and T-Time are going to get most of it. Skettis is going to perish here. And lots of players going down here for WASP. They're getting good camp time. Lightbow is actually on the car. Tries to chase down. Actually does take down Joe. So that's a decent frag for him. Only 4 players left alive for Feila. T-Time trying to buy as much time as he can. Domaytoe has gone down, but great headshot there from Morg. He's going to open things up. Lightclaw surely going to get this cap here, and Layla has to be careful. 1 minute and 20 seconds. She is alive.
They can cut her off, though.
She can't get out.
Nice.
Jinxie has to save. Jinxie does save. He wins the the scout fight there.
They still have to cross to the sideline though now. Right now, and Morg is watching us.
They should be fine there. Should be fine there. But yeah, I mean, 1 minute. Layla has like 10% advantage, pretty negligible when it comes to Highlander. Unless they push on the dot, they're not going to catch her out. Domaytoe jumps in. He wants that sniper frag, and he takes down the sniper. And he actually stays alive as well. Could get cleaned up here by T-Type, but no, he survives on 1 HP. Domaytoe 1 HP. Catman has died, and there's a lot of frags going down for both sides, but Feila have to be careful. 40 seconds now. Starting to get to that time where it's impossible. You need to get bodies on the car, and that's exactly what WASP are doing. 100% for Layla. She could use it any time to try and block this car, but Sprayer also is going to have his charge and could win this battle. Joe's going to get the Uber. Domaytoe and Skettis get in there. They're trying to focus the sentry, trying to get down the engineer, but they can't. Finally, the sentry does go down. Layla's going to push into the spot. She goes down to Skettis. So many people down, 4 up for each team. Catman is on the car, and she gets 2 kills. He takes down Domaytoe and Catman, and then he pistols down Sprayer. Huge play from the Spy, and that might actually save them. 10 seconds to go. It's impossible for them to get into the pit now. T-Time just chilling on that cart for good measure, but the second round is going to go Faila's way. They're going to tie this up at 1-1.
This is so, like, they're playing this so, I say scrappy and it's carnage, but again, this is kind of the scenario where just the DM fights and something works out, you know, like players are actually playing in small groups and a bit more individually, and you can just see how strong these players are, not only individually, but even if they just play in these little groups, you know, like it's so effective at times. Like I was feeling very comfortable for Feila because they had, like, they just shouldn't cringe this this defensive Uber, and they didn't, so they actually had a great chance because it's really hard on the offensive team to push this within this kind of area, and WASP just didn't have the grip enough on this high ground and stuff like that. But these kind of fast times, I would say, I mean, we pointed out some mistakes, but I would still say this is a really good standard to set the first, like, the season off again on Prem, because I feel like these strategies are really working at points, but you can, like, it's so tickle. It's basically what I want to say. Yeah, like, you know, it's not like these are not dumb players. Nobody on this game here, on this current game, even if it's hard for me to say, is like tactical no-brainer. They are smart, and you can really see this in their, like, kind of gameplay. CeeJaey, what is your opinion on that one? Like, I would say they have really good strats. They're just getting out-stratted at some point.
I mean, they're focusing, like, the thing is, talk about, like, getting kills, getting damage, but they're focusing the right players at the right time. That's the thing, and it seems whenever Feila push third, they're taking down Clark and his sentry a lot. Either he's not getting the protection, or, you know, the players are allowed to get so far up. I mean, it should be that everyone's watching an angle, everyone's denying a bit of space. And usually your sniper is denying that main tracks area. And it seems every single time Joe is allowed to push that far up, not being denied by the heavy, not being denied by the sniper, and he's able to get free shots onto the engineer. You want that engineer to be alive late on in the fight. If he's the first person to go down, you're having a problem. Just taking a look at the logs here, it's actually Domaytoe who gets the highest amount of frags and the highest amount of damage as well. 485 a minute, and getting 17, only dying 7 times, so pretty good for him. But the rest of the players are pretty much even across the board. Both Spies doing decently. Menti actually getting quite a lot, very important for him. So yeah, I mean, getting the fastest time on that second round in their attacking phase, Feila have decided that they want to attack first. They are in the blue again. The winner of this round will actually go on to take 4 points. The loser only 2. Technically, this is a golden cap round as Menti goes in for kind of a solo suicide there and doesn't get anything done. Like I said, the pushback from the combination of these classes are interesting. You see Agi underneath now, but he gets caught out. He goes for the sap, can't get taken down. Skettis melts him away. T-Time and Joe are in. Lots of damage going down, but they don't actually get anything. Sprayer not taking a lick of damage. And,
okay, I say
it's
tactical, but these these suicide waves are so garbage. Like, I'm not giving any team credit for, like, any round, Like, they're so fast with this pushing, but these suicide waves are so garbage all the time. It's absolutely insane, I'm sorry. Interestingly enough, Edgy here goes again for the teleporter, and it will get unset by Engineer of the Season with the Wrench of the Season, and Sentry of the Season goes down. Joe's in from tracks, and he actually goes down. Menti there probably tries to do something, he jumps in, but he gets immediately denied again, so this was just the fourth kind of semi-suicide wave, and actually Sprayer did get forced there, so finally.
Yeah, Layla did die. I believe she dropped to Morg.
Was that a push?
Yeah,
okay.
So, yeah, I didn't see if she'd actually used her Uber earlier, but I think she dropped to Morg. So it's good that Sprayer used his Uber there for Feila, but like it was on a 5k, he's just chasing down Agi. It's interesting the different choices there. Vettel deciding to go all the way to spawn to take down the Telly, and Agi preferring to be in the action on this first point. But Feila are losing a lot of players here. They are 4 down right now, and it's players like Hazarok who are probably trying to open the way. But Lightclaw is on a 6k now. He's just cleaning up players, and he's weak, getting a little bit of HP and then getting back into the fight. Joe trying to go from tunnel
Selfish
again, just
player.
gets destroyed. Yeah, solo play there, doesn't really achieve much. And we do see Layla out now. She's only at 70%. She's actually 20 behind Sprayer right now. And they're trying to go for this far side push. Morg is in position. Got to be careful. To lose your medic again would be pretty devastating at this stage. Looks like WASP have a really strong hold on to point. Jinxie goes down. Not much pushing power right now. Uber does come in, Domaytoe. They're trying to focus this sentry down. It is being wrangled. The counter Uber comes in. And this is looking strong for WASP. They're just holding on.
Wonderful. Like they had, I feel like they had to deny Hazarok a bit. Like he had so much ground on the left because his combo was just there and there was nobody really pressuring him. At the moment, it's just Clark get out by himself, which is really important. They're still playing from this tracks area here, but they really need to get out. Catman there kind of saves Morg to dying. So they're also weak, but they are getting out with a really good transition. This is what you want. But before, they kind of took the ground there, Feila on the left side. But I feel like either Hazarok was not getting a superior sideline. I mean, obviously this is how you can counter a sniper, you know. If you can't kill him, maybe just kind of play around the sidelines. Obviously there's only so much you can do, but maybe it works and you can actually buy like 10 seconds, and that was crucial because 3 minutes CeeJaey for the first defense, and especially in this kind of situation, even though Wiethoofd goes down now, is really good for WASP.
Yeah, it is a strong hold. I mean, they probably feel a little bit unhappy that they didn't hold them hard on there. I mean, actually do see a really passive hold from WASP. Spray is holding in the house. Normally we see teams do this if they have a disadvantage, but Kazra there takes down Morg, took down Wiethoofd early on, and started to warm up maybe on this round. Clark goes down to Agi. The Sentry was actually really passive on tracks. Maybe Clark was waiting to, you know, Sentry jump his way back up there, but Sentry is down out of the equation. Excuse me. Catman is peed on up top. Counter Uber comes in from WASP, trying to chase away the players. They're not getting much damage, and Catman surely going to take down Joe here.
This is behind though. This is behind. He actually went with the Uber behind, and he's not caught. He kills Morg. Like, do they? and Sprayer goes down to Edgy. Do they? I feel like they had a bit of a slip up there. Something got lost in communication because there was a heavy flash and they kind of lost track of him. So that's that. And Edgy is on Clark, but this time he survives, and they're actually going to stabilize here, which was really important. Like I was just going to say, this time. Perfectly seen again. Feila popped early, but they didn't take the high ground. They just tried to like push with their head against the wall, kind of, and Wiethoofd goes down also. That might be an opening, and they're just getting some ground here. Should be indecisive currently though. I think they're getting this for free actually.
Yeah, I mean, DQ's head there was behind on tracks, just trying to deny tracks as best he could. But yeah, it does look like this cap is going to go down. T-Time is on there, just making sure he actually juggles Catman into the air and helps take him down. Blood is finishing off. The Uber is used by Feila. I'm not sure why. There was nobody close. Wiethoofd there on last. There is a sentry underneath. She finally gets built up to level 3. If T-Time had gone for the sentry while it was upgrading, he could have taken it down. Clark was nowhere near it.
Engineer of these strategies.
Yeah, it was kind of silently upgrading and then finally goes down.
Morg actually gets the snipe onto Layla, which is really important as well. So 60% advantage for Sprayer. They definitely have a chance here. Joe goes down really lit and gets cleaned up there by Catman after he took a lot of damage from Scatters. I mean, Jinxie's just getting this card time. It's so crucial because even though they're still not dealing with him. What is this? Kill this guy finally. Like, so this is basically a Uber. This is still like they killed them. You know, CeeJaey. They fought them off so well, but Jinxie got so many cap time. This is basically what you only achieve by just getting a Uber push, so this was basically a Uber push by Jinxie alone.
Yeah, really, really well played. I mean, just focusing that cap. Sprayer does have 100% Uber now. You can see the suicide coming in. Sprayer takes a bit of damage, does get forced there eventually. T-Time came in, and that last bit of pyro damage scares enough. But Dito goes aggressive, trying to get some damage down. He cannot. Layla is just out of there. She doesn't want to be near any danger whatsoever at 55%. Going to start building again soon, so it is going to be about a 30% advantage over Sprayer, and I expect Sprayer to be playing passive. Yeah, there he is, near the spiral with Sketis. Doesn't want to get caught out by this Uber. Catman actually running that Tommy hiding in Map Room, actually scares away Menti. She has to back away there and hide underneath the balcony now, but interesting play for him. But Kazrok's pick onto the demo there. Dito down, so this Uber should be quite effective in cleaning some plays up. Catman down, Lycor down. Clark is also down, but Layla gets killed.
No,
they're focusing
now
the car.
They're coming from. This is way too late. This is gonna be so way too late, and therefore it was completely split up. They were just way too slow through the spiral, and they just gave them so much ground on tracks. I mean, they should have just went through the spiral on the lower thing. I mean, it's 6:45, and considering this entire game, this is actually proper time, but it has a very bitter taste to it at this kind of last push. And now I can actually use 30 seconds because, you know, WASP kinda cringed this a bit. A lot of stuff got lost into communication, especially when Bloodis got behind, like Hubert as a heavy, as the biggest class in the entire game, uncalled. And then you got the frag onto Morg. CeeJaey, before this game, actually, first of all, they tried to get me, obviously, as a Merc, but they got the superior Vettel, who is definitely showing, like, just shout out to Vettel, he's doing so much on this game, really, for them. And I had the most fun, really, for these players, because they wouldn't give me their TeamSpeak info, so I was just sitting around with Cloak and Dagger and just writing into the chat, like Uber now, Uber from Boiler, tracks and stuff, and they actually like rotated to that, so maybe they should actually adopt this as their kind of main concept for communication.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there have been some kind of non-Russian speaking players playing for WASP over the years, so it's interesting. I know Cloudy in UGC played for them for a while and picked up some phrases just to help them out, but yeah, here come the bombs now. WASP trying to make an early impression, getting some decent damage down, but no. Those are going to fall by the wayside, and they lose 4 players going in there. But Morg still alive, takes down Jinxie. That's it's better than nothing, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a pick. It's a pick.
Yeah, Addy is going to finish him off though. But yeah, it's a pick and could open the door for Not So. So you can take a look at the teleport exit from Spamfest. Actually on top near the dispenser. In comes Dito again. More sneakers coming down, but they're not really hitting anything other than the buildings. And Layla again, not really worried by those. Menti getting the whip kill.
So they do 50% of the suicide wave correctly, CeeJaey. You know what that is? Dying. But the rest is not correct, because they're not achieving anything by doing that. They should just skip this suicide wave, just push the card normally and then just do Uber. But I mean, it's still like 5.5 minutes. They can easily do this in Kazakh. It's a snipe down to Morg and Sprayer. Is that Sprayer going through tunnel? I think they actually, yeah, they're pushing tunnel here with this Uber. They're not really called, I feel like, but T-Time is just denying this. Like, Dito doesn't get any ground. Now they get forced really early. Layla doesn't even have to use, but they use now.
Yeah, Bloody's dropped down there. I don't think he needed to, because the Uber was being forced already. Sprayer a bit out of position here, trying to get away. He gets wrangled down to about 20 HP. Catman takes down 2. Catman in. Catman just focusing the car. Catman slay as Morg takes down Spamfest, trying to retreat.
So weak. She will die. Nice.
Oh my days, there is one person alive, and it is the Spy. He dies just after. That was nearly a full wipe there. Spamfest says in chat, that was sad. Trying to get his sentry out, and he just gets headshot by Morg, so he loses it all. And this is the perfect opportunity to get some momentum here. Took them a couple of minutes for that first point. About 3 minutes for Feila to do the same though. But Feila do not have as strong as a rebuild on third. So it's going to be difficult for them to hold some position. Vettel already up top, gets caught out by Menti, so no cheeky Spy backstabs as Morg is getting aggressive in main. And have to see what happens here. A passive sentry from Spamfest. If WASP push on this advantage, Domaytoe, they could probably pick up a lot of frags.
They should just really maybe push again with this advantage. I don't actually think it matters so much if they push from Boiler or from tracks, because if they like push on the point, really, when they hit their Uber, then they can actually do this. But Edgy gets a step or two more. Shouldn't matter that much though if they actually use early. Like this sniper pick only enables them to lose a lot of players, but nobody's following up that, so they just get their Uber now. Later's only an 80%, Pyro comes in, does get denied though on stairs, Scatus goes down, so then actually getting this ground here, and Feila just stabilizing by just really good picks from Kaza. They're taking on Detour, just denying the people that were not Ubered, because they're kind of not quick enough, and maybe they should have actually, you see post-factual commentary, I think it would have been better for them to Uber through Boiler, but they could have made that work through tracks, they were just not quick enough, but yeah, it kind of stands out. They still have 3.5 minutes though, it is still doable.
Yeah, they're not stopping here, they're not relenting, they're just keeping getting in. As Aji is going for something, can he get this medic? Spray goes down quite weak. Not going to get the play though, and Spamfest did die, and it does look like we have a pause. I think this is a pause, yeah, we're not getting a disconnect message, so yeah, we're just waiting for the game to catch up, but gives us a bit of a time to breathe, kind of analyze what happens there, because we talk about Badwater Third, a lot of people don't like this map. People in America, UGC, they play the Pro version, Badwater Pro, which changes some things on Third to supposedly make it easier to push.
Pro on the outside, but it's actually for people who are worse on the inside, because it makes it easier.
I mean, true. I mean, it makes it easier to push Third, which is this hotly contested point. And there has to be an argument made for the fact that Feila didn't have time to build properly on Third. You know, they didn't get their buildings up in decent positions. They weren't fully blocked up there. They didn't have an Uber against a full Uber from WASP. They pushed into Third, but it's this passive hold in the house that we've been seeing over the past 12 months or so, where medics like to hold underneath near the dispenser, passively behind the dispenser when the Uber comes in, with the heavy on top and the demo spamming. It's very, very easy to block, and it denies people from coming up there. So Feila holding really well there, but I think on the counter argument against that, for people saying why it's, you know, a hard point to hold, you've got so many people you can kind of play behind. Look how far the cart has gone because they're playing passively. They're still deciding to play passive, and Layla has a full charge. Spray's only at 60%, but Lightclaw is pushing this cart pretty much for free. You know, so it does make you kind of wonder. You know, there are checks and balances that need to be made on each point, and okay, it's easier to stay alive. But at the same time, you're giving up so much cap time because you're not supporting your sniper. You're not supporting, like Kazarok was. He's all the way back at spawn. He keeps taking down as we are on pause now.
I would split this argument like this. They did it well before, and now they actually probably have to use the Uber, will be absolutely garbage because they will get now the cap. Joe goes down, Jinxie as well, and now they only have to Uber the Pyro where they also capped. And Spirit ends up with 70% advantage after that, or 80 even. And like we have to split up your argument there, CeeJaey, because it's definitely the right call to play this passive when they had Uber disadvantage, but after that they should have switched. So that was kind of the mistake there, and now it's definitely given them a chance. Like my heart ticked down a bit, but it should be around like 2.5 minutes for WASP, which is definitely doable as they're just pressuring this so hard here, and Feila is giving them so much ground because they have a big Uber disadvantage, and now they're actually pushing with this advantage. WASP with this T-time goes down early, this is definitely giving a big chance here. Scatus actually doesn't get flashed in the Uber, so he gets killed by the sentry gun. Shouldn't matter too much, they just have to control these people on high ground, but now Lightclaw's doing the same thing, pushing the card, but now the bombs actually come in CeeJaey, so they should stabilize here.
Yeah, they did take down Layla, but then Agi took down Sprayer as he was trying to retreat. Somewhere more passive. Menti in that map room has control. I mean, if you push in and you Uber in, doesn't matter. If you have someone in map room on the defense just kind of controlling that area, it really, really does help because it's just so easy to spam down on that cart. Cart is really, really far forward now, so lots of time for WASP to kind of get in and just kind of focus that cart and really pressure Feila. We see the milk there, or Jarati, I should say. Trying to hit Catman, but he dies before. We do hear, this is the request for the pause. It does look like someone disconnected, maybe. Sprayer was having the issues, so that's why the pause happened earlier on, but we can see the times now reset, and we see this passive hold from Feila. They're desperately trying to hold in. Yeah.
It's just peeking this card, really important. Puts so much pressure on the enemy team as well. Like, this was kind of the key thing I wanted to see. Like, Menti gets big frags though from that room, that should be or something. I didn't see Menti, but he got a lot of frags. Usually this soldier holds map room, but I think he was holding something somewhere else. It was kind of the key factor for me. Like, Vettel did so much, like pick-wise, but now he's actually focusing the objectives, so he definitely needs what has to be done. So the situation is really good, seeing this kind of Merc helping them out, but they have sticky traps here. They do get spotted by Detour though, so Now it's basically Uber versus Uber, while the card is really far forward, but it's rolling back currently.
Yeah, Spray just getting his charge now, not wasting any time, using it early. The counter Uber comes in, they pick up a couple players, and again, Sketches gets dropped from this Uber. So they're not going to have a Pyro, which again is one of the most popular and strongest classes to have in Ubers these days. We do see the players from Feila going a bit more passive now. Catman is still on the top ground, takes down Bloodis. He's getting a lot of free spam as Dito tries to get some focus onto that sentry. Gets pushed back, and he's pretty weak. Catman drops down, gets a lot of damage, but cannot finish anybody else. But Lightclaw's on the cop, yeah. He's trying to focus it. Feila are spread around here. They have to split their defenses between two separate areas. Big jump from Menti, oh my days! Takes down Spray, huge med pick. May have actually won his team the round here. DQZ tries to go for the same thing. He's spamming that sentry. Skettis drops down. Skettis takes down the Pyro, takes down a lot of players. But this is absolutely frantic. 15 seconds. Catman and his team need to get onto that cart and push forward. They're coming in through choke now, healing up, getting ready for this one final onslaught. 10 seconds to go. The Catman gets taken down by Menti again. Bloodis is on the cart, and he is the man who's going to stop them from pushing. Uber is used by Layla. A cheeky extra Uber for the logs, just in case anyone was going to even touch the cart, Domaytoe. And it's actually Feila coming from one round down, just like they did in the preseason playoffs, to take this third round. They're going to take it 2-1 and take the majority of the points.
Goodness, like these 2 last minutes went by so super fast. I was thinking like, kind of Spray and WASP have such an easy kind of fight for just doing this. The main issue was, I mean, they focused the card well, but they only actually got like one proper Uber exchange in like 2 minutes, because like big jump there from Menti kind of in the end, but before they were just kind of put on the back foot. As was just all around, they were not properly regrouping. Catman was on high ground, but like they were getting so much damage, but it was taking them too long to kill the Feila players that all went weak at the same time, but just didn't die at the same time, which was the important thing, because Layla just stayed alive and then in the end actually had the Uber to block the point. So this was just really, really close. It should have really gone either way, but CeeJaey, they just kind of showed us how fast this Badwater thing can be pushed, because they played these 3 rounds as fast as someone can hold third Badwater point basically for. So this is,
I mean, that's like you were saying earlier, that's a counter argument for this third point. People are saying, oh, it's impossible to push Badwater third, guys. Well, I mean, we just saw 3 rounds where, yeah, I mean, we just saw 3 rounds where teams, that's what it's about, momentum, taking it from point to point, and both these teams showed it well. Just taking a look at the logs here, and actually that makes some pretty interesting reading, because the top 3 fraggers are actually WASP players. The top one there was Lightclaw. Did point out that he had about 5 or 6k on that first point, just kind of cleaning up the damage that his teammates were putting out on the far side and in the tunnel, and just making sure no one got free cap time. So he was playing pretty well for his team. Catman with 16 frags just behind him was doing pretty well as well. I think he had a very solid game, despite being on the losing team. Morg as well, 13 for 9. You know, solid sniping game from him. You know, WASP got more frags. They got 6 more frags. They got about 3,000 more damage. They got 3 more Ubers. It does kind of raise question marks over, you know, what were they doing wrong? But like you said, it's not just about kills, it's not about damage, it's about who you kill and if you get them at the right time. And like I was saying earlier on third point, it just seemed that Feila were able to walk up the tracks there pretty much uncontested and get free spam on the sentry, and that's not something you want to have, you know, done to you. So tactically, Feila maybe just having the edge there, but extremely close rounds every single time. I mean, it's not as if we saw a team getting held at first or second or something like that. It was always, you know, edge of the seat on last, and it's a great game to open season 15 with.
I can only be bothered with the logs if we actually have combined logs, and CeeJaey, we actually have those, so I can actually be bothered to talk about logs this time, because I had the kind of what I'm surprised by is, as I give you time to open these, like Wiethoofd is on top, like fragging wise. I felt like it was kind of putting them on to the back foot in unfortunate situations, because Wiethoofd just died to Kazarok a lot, I felt like, in this game, and he actually died 8 times, which was the most kind of kills from Kazarok. So there we go. This was, I think, one of the banes, because it's really hard. I think he died kind of equal on offense and defense, so it's first of all really hard to push without a demo, and it's even harder at times. I would say it's harder to push without a demo man, but it's also really hard to hold without a demo man. Then we have Menti on second place. I didn't actually see how much Menti did, but he must have done a lot. I just think that he controlled a lot of high ground and just area denial is really important. Just actually got frags of that, as they're just kind of equal, you know. And then after that, we actually see like the snipers a bit down there. I mean, Kazarok is only in 4th position, which is still respectable, but it's 33 frags. It's kind of down there, and like Mok is even further below with 28 because he got focused by LG a lot there, as we can see. I mean, Vettel kind of did the same counter action there then on Kazarok, so maybe that's the kind of denial by, from both snipers, but I just think that they had their aggression down on the right times, and it was just these snipers only had like 2 or 3 shots to hit and then to shut down a push, or otherwise the aggression would have just carried them away. So that's that, and therefore the kind of damage and kills just make an amalgamation of saying this was very, very close, and this should have gone could have gone either way, because just very fast and no real big slip up. If one team slipped up, the other one slipped up too. If one team played well, the other one played well too. I think they were just really, really equal and on par.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the classes, there are a lot of classes very, very similarly matched. It wasn't, you know, the one, I guess the biggest disparity between classes would probably be Soldier. I mean, Mentiger going 37 for 31, 14k damage, whereas DQZ 13k damage, but, you know, got 17 less kills. I mean, Soldier is one of those classes which maybe doesn't have a huge impact visually in the game, but if you're holding the right flanks and you get the odd pick here and there, there has been a roster change from the preseason playoffs compared to today. I mean, in the preseason playoffs, what we saw was Dima, like I said, you know, a very, very experienced Soldier, won Prem with both SCCK, Strong Opinions, has won Soldier of the Season, Player of the Season. Really, really strong Soldier. Not playing Soldier has actually left the team, so I do believe he's not playing for WASP this season. DQZ was playing Pyro. He's now on Soldier, which is probably the class he first played Prem in for XTCK. And now they've got Sketis on Pyro. So a little bit of a roster shuffle. Not pointing fingers, but pretty much, like you said, equal across the board. It was just tactically the teams were slightly different. So yeah, I mean, both the teams I expect are probably hoping to go for those playoffs. It is going to be 6 teams. Top 3 will be going into the playoffs in a bubble bracket. So that means 3rd plays second, second plays first in the grand final, or whoever wins that 3rd versus 2nd playoff, of course. And I think both of these teams would have aspirations to be in the top 3. There are some other strong teams in the playoffs. In the division. We've got Elephant and Open Squad who also played their game today, while later in the week we have Lucrosa coming up against Budget Toucans. And I think if you take a look at the 6 teams, there isn't a team that you would say is an overwhelming favourite to not get into the playoffs. I think everyone has got a decent chance. I think there are some teams people would expect to be in the top 3, but who knows who'll be filling them out towards the end of the season. But yeah, this has been the first week of ETF2L Season 15.
Just to kind of follow up with what you said, CeeJaey, I also want to say it's really important and interesting, actually. Like, first time I actually find Highlander interesting in last seasons, that since so many, like, these top established teams, like, as we all, like, always noticed and said, kind of disappeared from the scene, it's always really important to see how the standard kind of establishes itself again, you know, like where will the standard be? Will it be like, since it's basically the same players, will it kind of be at the same standard again than before, or will it be completely different? It's kind of a self-establishing environment, you know, where they just set their own standards of where to play and what to play. So this is basically kind of an experiment, I would say, because whoever reigns supreme in this season, I would say, is probably the team that is going to be the one to beat in the, like, kind of seasons that follow after that. But in this kind of transition area, it could really be any team, you know, like any team who puts the effort in and any team who makes the right choices. Currently, we are really just seeing what could happen and what could be the big team to be kind of setting again. What could be the next Strong Opinions, CeeJaey?
I mean, that's the question. I mean, like you said, big teams disappearing. Of the last 6 seasons, 4 of those seasons were won by Strong Opinions. 2 of them were won by SCCK, and both of those teams have since left the scene. So there is a bit of a power vacuum. You know, there is going to be a brand new winner for the first time since season 8, and even then, back then, we had the likes of Chess Club and High Panda. And fair enough, playing in the mix. So who will be crowned champion? I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the season develops, and whether these teams, it's going to be about practice and who gels the most and who gels the fastest. But thank you for watching, and guys, thank you to Domaytoe for casting, and of course as well to Foppish for doing the production in the background. Great as always. This has been week 1 of ETF2L season 15 Premiership Division. WASP missing out on a victory against Feila eSports for the second time in 2 weeks. Feila eSports taking it 4 points to 2. We'll be back later in the week with some more games from the ETF2L Premiership Division. Monday, we'll also have more from the UGC Platinum Playoffs as we enter the semi-final stage in the upper bracket. While this time next week, we'll be preparing for the Copenhagen Games, and on KritzKast, we will be casting and taking a closer look at the Highlander competition, which has a prize pool of €3,000 and has some decent Prem teams participating, myself and Domaytoe included. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Hi, old beaver! Away!